What's up? This is Chris Caffrey from Sabotage, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and Chris Caffrey, and you are watching CMS TV.
The bulk of the songs that the fans want are those first 2 and 3 records, which would leave kind of Andy not getting as many. And I know you guys don't limit that way, but if the fans were picking the roster, it would be Keeper of Seven Keys 1 and 2, probably start to finish. Yes.
You couldn't be more wrong, actually.
Okay.
You know, yeah. We for this tour we did a poll. We wanted to have fans vote for their favorite songs they want to hear live, and it's interesting how well spread out it is over 40 years of a career. You know, we have, and that's the thing. Like I said, we have 3 generations of fans right now, and of course the older ones. You're totally right. They want to go in time travel back to the youth when they heard Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 or Part 2. And then you would also have like the very old fans, they want to hear stuff from the Walls of Jericho albums, you know, of course. But also we have much younger fans who want to listen to stuff from the last 10 to 20 years, you know. So it's like really spread out. That was kind of interesting to see.
It is Chris Akin Presents, and I, of course, am Chris Akin. And today on the show, one of my absolute favorite bands, band that just keeps redefining themselves. And when you get bored with them having one singer, they add 2, then they add 3, and then they have more guitar players. And this is an ever-expanding band. They have a brand new release out on August the 29th called Giants and Monsters. The band, of course, is Helloween. And here to talk all about it is Mr. Sascha Gerstner. Sascha, how are you, man?
Hey, doing great. Now we're on this big interview run and for the album release, and also preparing for tour. Yeah.
Right on. Well, like you said, it's a busy time. We'll definitely talk about both. Let's start with the record, though. This record, and this is just my opinion, which I'm sure you're getting everybody's opinion right now as it gets out there, but this is the most challenging record, I think, for Helloween, of all of the Helloween stuff. And you guys are known to kind of maneuver in and out of different styles, but this one here really seems like you all brought something to the table and made something that's, I'll be honest, this is a very different listen from a lot of what you guys do. Is that what you're hearing, and was that on purpose?
Yeah, first of all, I have to say, thanks for this summary. Interesting to hear that, because everything we do, we don't do it on purpose. It's not that when we do an album, we never have some concept in mind, or barely. You know, we had, of course, when we did a Seven Sinners album, we had on mind to record it in 432 hertz. That was something that was kind of a concept in terms of production, but we never go for, let's write songs like this or that. You know, it's more like I would say a snapshot of where we are as a band, as artists. You know, so interesting to hear that. So, but I see where you're going, where you're going to with the range of styles, and I think the longer the band exists, the more we are able to have a bigger range of within the metal genre, you know, because the band was experimenting so much in the past as well. You know, we have a Chameleon album that went on the other side in that spectrum, and then there was a Dark Ride album which was on the other side of the spectrum, and so in between we always were able to do, because of that, to have a wider variety outside of the typical power metal box. Yeah, so I would say.
Sure. And there are a lot of those songs on there as well. I mean, there's a lot of songs that you'll hear, people will hear them when they get the record here at the end of the month, and they'll be like, yeah, that's Helloween, no doubt about it. But then there's songs like A Little Is a Little Too Much, which is very different for you guys. And I know you guys have touched sort of in that mid-tempo place in places in your career. But this one, maybe it's just because of where it jumps out in the record. It's like you're going, and then boom, brings it back down a little bit. It's unexpected, and it's very cool.
Yeah, thanks, man. Maybe it's because of the positioning of the songs as well. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the playlist shows a lot of variety as well. But we always had those kind of, you would probably call them rock songs. You know, we always had those kind of songs before, and you can tell it's a typical Andi Deris song. That's the way he writes songs, and we all know that, you know, that he has a huge hard rock influence. You know, so that's where he came from, and we always had those kind of songs in between. And as I said before, I think it's a great variety, you know, and now that we're all always playing like different sizes of shows, you know, you play the big festivals, and then also we play a couple of like bigger venues and clubs and stuff like that, and arenas. So it's good to have those kind of songs for a live set as well, you know, aside from all this like double bass, twin guitar solo stuff, you know. So
sure. Well, Sascha, you know, now that you've had a few years now with this lineup, with the three voices and the, you know, the big guitars and stuff, has how you guys write songs changed? Do you write for a specific singer, or do you not have to write for a specific singer, but write whatever you want because you know one of the three can do it?
That's a perfect question. Really well thought through. So, it's more likely that I can just talk for myself. Like if I write a song, I have already one of the singers in mind. You know, like with a song like Universe, for instance, that was like screaming for having Michael Kiske singing it. You know, so of course you would write that way because you know you have the abilities in the band. You know, and but sometimes it's different. Sometimes you just write a song, and then we go to the studio, and then they kind of decide who wants to sing on what song, you know. So yeah, but most of the time you would, as a songwriter, you would have in mind who could be the perfect singer for the song in terms of style and in terms of abilities and range and stuff like that. Yeah.
Sure. Well, Sascha, let's dig into the record a little bit here. I want to go with a couple of the songs that feature all three guys, because I don't know how you guys figure out who's doing what. But obviously, you know, Majestic and We Can Be Gods, everybody's got their piece. Andy's in there, Kiske's in there, you know, everybody's
in there as well.
Right. Doing that, how does that happen? Do the singers figure that out, or do you guys have a vision that says, okay, this part fits Andy's voice and this part fits Michael's part? And, you know, do you guys have that vision, or do they figure that out?
They figure it out. And we have a production team as well, you know, so it's so and so, you know, so we figured that out. So together, and in the studio, you would kind of start speaking songs through, you know, and then so we have production team with Dennis Ward and Charlie Bauerfeind, and they have something to say there as well, you know. They would go like, okay, this part would be perfect for Andy, and this one would be perfect for Michael. And then they also, as a singer, you have to check, how does it sound with my voice, you know? And that's the thing, yeah.
Sure. Do you guys end up having stuff where you hear it and you're like, nah, maybe Andy's not the right voice for this, and then you change it up, and then maybe it develops into something different?
You know, I think most of the times they know really well what they're capable of, and then in the end of the day, it's also, I think, a matter of how much fun is it to sing. You know, if it's like we're all doing music for such a long time, you already know when you hear something, is it something that I could express myself really well in, you know, and so it's, everything we do is pretty natural. You know, there's no big plan behind it. It's more like, how does it feel? Does it promote the song well? Does it serve the song? and that's what you would do, like if you take the vocal as an instrument, what it is basically. You would do that with all the instruments. You would go like, okay, what is helping the song to be the best way represented, you know?
Sure.
Welcome to the ultimate experience for hard rock and heavy metal fans. Introducing the CMS Locals VIP app, your #1 destination for all things on the CMS network. Dive into the classic metal show, Chris Akin Presents, Seth Williams Show, and more, all in one place. It's free to get started or elevate your experience with a subscription for just $4.99 a month. Go commercial free, get advanced releases, and enjoy exclusive bonus episodes. Plus, it's the prime spot to chat with like-minded fans who love raw, uncensored commentary. Are you ready to rock? Download from your iOS or Android store, search for the CMS network, and join the community now. It's free, it's easy, and it's the best way to keep our shows with you every single day. Install the locals.com app today and follow the CMS network.
What about for you personally, Sascha? How have you changed as a guitar player? I mean, do you feel like, I know a million musicians, same as you do, and there's not a single one of you that can listen to anything that you did in the past and be happy with it. That's just how you guys all are.
Yeah.
So how is it for you now? Do you feel you're at the height of your playing? Do you feel like you're still growing as a player?
Oh man, I have no idea about the height of my playing. It's like you're always growing. It's always like you never stop learning, you know, like each record we're doing is I come out of the studio smarter than I was before, you know. It's like there's always something you have to learn. There's always something you learn about yourself as well, because if you have a good producer, he's also like, or she, they would push you to the limit, you know. So and that's always happening. It's never like, oh yeah, just play at your like 60 or 70%. It's always like pushing to your limits, and then you learn something about yourself. And then the same goes with production, you know, like we each time we start from the beginning with like gear and stuff, the way we approach and do the sound design and everything. So it's always something to learn and to grow. And for me, like every record makes me being a better musician, you know. So, and I also have to say, I don't think too much about the guitar playing itself. So for me, it's really more about the musicianship and how I can grow as an artist, you know. So each record is helping me with that, as the live shows do as well, you know.
Sure, definitely. Another song I wanted to ask you about on the record is one that you've already shared with everybody. This is Tokyo, which is a seems like it's a personal tribute of somebody's to Tokyo. You know, I lived in Korea for 2.5 years, so I'm very familiar with that area, and I used to go to concerts at the Big Egg in Nagoya all the time. So, you know, I've been there. Not that I've ever known it, but what is it that is special about Tokyo for you guys? Is it just the way the fans have treated you, or is it, do you somehow play better there? I mean, what makes that a special place for Halloween?
There's certain things that does make it a little bit different to the rest of the world. First of all, you have to say, like, there was a time when the metal scene wasn't as big as it is now, or as it was before in the 80s. And the Japanese fans have been always loyal to the style of music we've been playing, you know. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is on the last tour we have played the Budokan venue, which is really remarkable and famous.
Sure.
In the rock and roll scene, and to play something like that was really special for us, you know. And so these are some of the reasons, and then also Andy, he had his like personal reason, because that was like the beginning for him with his career when he was there with Pink Cream 69, you know.
Right.
So I think it's an homage for the Japanese people, and it's a perfect song for that.
Sure. I know this. It's very, I lived in Korea from 87 to 89. And
Hmm.
I was in the military. So I used to take those
Hmm.
military flights on the
Hmm.
weekends because,
Hmm.
and you probably remember this, back in 87, none of the tours came past Japan. Nothing came to
Hmm.
Korea, because Korea, that was before the Olympics and before they had kind
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
grown up. When I started going to see shows there in 87, everybody was sitting on their hands and it was a nice polite hand
Yeah, yeah,
clapping at
yeah,
the
yeah,
beginning,
yeah.
where by the time I left, even just 2 years later, it was like everywhere else where everybody's going crazy and it was fun. Talk a little bit about that for you guys. Was that weird the first times that you went to like Japan and everybody was sitting and quiet and not going crazy?
Well, it's really interesting that you say that because I remember the first time I went there is and you would play a show, you could see like they're like so no. First of all, I have to say like Japanese people are anything else than lazy.
Oh
They're like
yeah.
hard workers, and so what they do is, and I saw that for the first time in my life, and there was that people would come straight from work
Hmm.
into the venue. Then they would hang their tie and their working bag and stuff, and they would put it or backpack. They would put it
Sure.
in there, to store it away, and then to go to the show, freaking out, and then they go back like putting on the tie and taking their backpack and going back to work. That's what they would do. Like they would come to a show for 2 hours and then go back to work, and that was kind of astonishing to see that. And also to see that people are so dedicated that they would like stop working and then going back to work. It's like
Sure.
just for seeing a show. So that was something really one of the curiosities I noticed when I was there. And you mentioned one thing that I like with the Asian culture in general is the politeness,
Hmm.
which is really, really big. And it still is, and I kind of like that. So
Sure.
it's a totally different approach to, for instance, and I wouldn't say these people are unpolite or anything, but it's just a different vibe and energy. If you go to Latin America,
Hmm.
um, people freaking out like crazy when you play there. It's a totally different approach. So, but that's the beauty of it. Like the traveling as a musician, you get to see the world and you see different habits and cultural differences, and I like that. It keeps you grounded and open-minded at the same time. Yeah.
Sure. Definitely. Well, Sasha, it's hard for me to even get these words out of my mouth because I feel like in fact, I know I've been following Halloween since you guys started 40 years. You guys are getting ready to celebrate the 40 years of Halloween. What do you think when you hear that number? That just, I mean, I'm 50, 56, and when I was a kid 20 years back, I was thinking about the Beatles, and now it's
Hmm.
like you guys are like double that length of time that you've had as a career. Are you surprised or did you ever expect to see past 10 years even?
Um, there's nothing you can expect if you're an artist, especially nowadays.
Hmm.
It's not easy to get around for a lot of bands and artists. And so, from my point of view, it's kind of a miracle to have
Sure.
such a long career. And on the other hand, it's really nice to see when we play shows that we have like three generations coming to the show. You would have the granddad with the
Right.
grandkids and the sons. And it's nice to see that. It's beautiful. Um,
Sure.
and yeah, so I'm really really grateful to experience something like that.
Absolutely. Now, for the shows themselves, Sasha, and I hate to keep harping on the singers, but it's just, you guys are
Hmm.
unique with the three singers. How initially was it approached what Andy would not sing anymore? Because obviously, you know, Andy was the man for 20 years and he
Hmm.
sang
Hmm.
the whole breadth of the
Hmm.
catalog. Did he just willingly give up the Keeper of the Seven Keys, or or the early
Yeah.
the early stuff, or was there discussion about, well, I've been doing
No.
this one or anything like that? No. Hey, it's Chris Akin from the Classic Metal Show, Chris Akin Presents, and the Seth Williams Show, straight from the uncensored heart of the CMS network. We've just been crowned a certified Rumble creator, and that means we're bringing the heat. All our shows, commercial-free, baby. Advanced episode drops, sometimes months before the normal release, so you're not stuck waiting. You'll get all this plus exclusive content for Rumble Premium subscribers that'll blow your mind. And with Rumble Premium, you'll get every CMS Network show and all of Rumble's other videos with no ads and no fluff. This is our official home, Rumble. It's raw, powerful, and unfiltered. You want in? Just hit us up at rumble.com/register/classic metal show to sign up for free commenting, chat live, and just your ability to join the chaos of all of our shows. Then while you're there, swing by any of our videos, smash that Rumble Premium button, and level up. Subscribe now. Don't sleep on this. Hit the link in the description.
No, like I said, it's everything we do is pretty natural, and same goes for guitar playing and everything. We know if you're a band, you always have to leave space for everyone else. It's not like if you want to take as much space as you can within a band, you should go on to make a solo career as a solo artist. Like when you're a band, it's about to leave space for each other, and we do that, and what helps is if you like each other, like Andy and Michael, they liked each other from the start, that's how we would approach everything, like when same was for me when I joined the band. There was no like audition or something to check out if I could play the stuff. It was more like a hang out, for a couple of weeks to see if Vikey and I like each other. That's very important, because you have to go on tour for a long time in like sometimes extreme situations. It's not the luxury life that people think of all the time. It's like not having enough sleep, pretty tough travel sometimes, and so you need to get along to be successful on a tour together. And the same goes for the studio. To be creative together, you have to like each other to make it happen in a good way. I mean, of course, there might be artists out there who don't like each other, and it works somehow. But that's not the way to go for us. At least you want to have a little bit of fun when you're working. So and so that helps. Like they like each other from the beginning, and they're very easygoing about who sings what, and then also like Halloween. After all this personal thing, Halloween, after all, is a brand as well, and the brand is built on something. There's this platform where we're all standing on, and like, of course, if you have Michael Kiske singing Keeper of the Seven Keys, that's original. That's where it came from, And so I'm just guessing here, but if I was Andy, and I think that's the way he thinks as well, it's like, yeah, man, let the OG guys sing those parts, So it keeps it interesting as well,
And I see that, but I'm going to devil's advocate you here just for a second on that one. The bulk of the songs that the fans want are those first 2 and 3 records, which would leave kind of Andy not getting as many. And I know you guys don't limit that way, but if the fans were picking the roster, it would be Keeper of Seven Keys 1 and 2, probably start to finish. Yes.
You couldn't be more wrong, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. We for this tour we did a poll. We wanted to have fans vote for their favorite songs they want to hear live, and it's interesting how well spread out it is over 40 years of a career. We have. And that's the thing. Like I said, we have 3 generations of fans right now, and of course the older ones. You're totally right. they want to go in time travel back to their youth when they heard Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 or Part 2. And then you would also have like the very old fans. They want to hear stuff from the Walls of Jericho albums, you
Sure.
know, of course. But also we have much younger fans and who want to listen to stuff from the last 10 to 20 years, you know. So it's like really spread out. That was kind of interesting to see. And so, and the other thing is then with like old stuff, we also have Andy and Michael sharing vocals as well on those, you know. So it's not that Michael is singing those all by his own. It's also we want to kind of combine that style. I mean, that would be the same case for me, you know. I'm playing on all the songs, you know. It's not like, okay, you stay away from stage while
right.
like, when the old dudes play the old stuff, you know. It's like after all we're a band and we want to do this together, you know. So yeah, it's working out well.
Absolutely. Well, it's worked out well with this brand new release. It is Giants and Monsters, August the 29th. It's Halloween. And Sascha, we tell everybody here not to just buy or just stream stuff. You know, we want them to buy stuff. Where is the best place we can send people to buy a CD, an album, a hat, a shirt, whatever?
I don't know where it is in the US, but of course you can get it from our record company first of all, and then in all like the stores. I think Amazon has a store for vinyl, and we have vinyls as well and CDs.
Okay.
And yeah, and after buying the record, come to our shows.
Absolutely. Now that's the number one thing, right? Even if you don't buy the record, come to the shows.
Yeah, come to the shows.
Are you planning to get over here in the 2026?
Oh yeah, possibly next year. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know when and if, but I think so. It would make sense.
Very good. Well, I hope you do, because I love the band. The band, of course, is Halloween, Giants and Monsters, August the 29th. And Sascha, thanks for joining me here on Chris Akin Presents.
Thank you.